person you held so dear, the one with whom you shared a bond that seemed unbreakable, was, not long ago, running. They were fleeing, it appeared, desperate to put distance between themselves and the profound connection you both shared, a connection that resonated deep within the chambers of your souls. It was as if an invisible force, a powerful current of energy, was pulling them away, leading them down a path that diverged sharply from the one you had envisioned together. You witnessed their departure with a heart heavy with questions, a spirit yearning for understanding, and a soul aching with a sense of loss. However, the tides have turned, the winds have shifted, and now, they are rushing back to you. They are emerging from a place you never anticipated, a realm of experience, perhaps, that was hidden from your view, a dimension of their being that remained shrouded in mystery. This sudden and dramatic change in their trajectory is not a mere coincidence, a random occurrence in the grand tapestry of life. No, it is not a twist of fate, but rather, it is a consequence, an effect that was, in a way, unintentionally triggered by you. It was born from the very interactions you shared, the unique and complex dynamic that unfolded between you. You, in your own way, became a catalyst, a force that propelled them on a journey of self-discovery, a confrontation with the shadows that lurked within. You made them face their inner demons, those haunting figures from their past, those unresolved traumas that whispered doubts and fears into the quiet corners of their mind. You made them confront their addictions, those self-destructive patterns that had taken root, those desperate attempts to fill a void that only true healing could mend. This confrontation, this facing of the darkness, was something they had been avoiding for a long, long time. It was a battle they had postponed, a reckoning they had delayed, preferring to remain in the comfortable shadows of denial rather than step into the harsh light of truth. They had constructed elaborate defenses, built impenetrable walls around their vulnerabilities, and convinced themselves that these hidden parts did not exist, or that they could forever remain buried, untouched and unseen. You, however, acted as a mirror, a reflective surface that revealed the unhealed and toxic aspects of their life. You held up a clear, unwavering image of their inner landscape, showing them the parts they had kept buried deep within the recesses of their being, preferring not to acknowledge their existence. These were the fragments of their soul, the wounded pieces of their heart, the unresolved conflicts of their past that they had desperately tried to keep hidden, even from themselves. Your presence, your very being, and the intensity of your relationship, the profound connection that pulsed between you, pushed them, perhaps against their will, to address these deep-seated issues. It compelled them to begin the arduous, yet ultimately liberating, process of healing. It was a journey into the depths of their own psyche, a descent into the labyrinth of their emotions, a pilgrimage to the core of their being. For a considerable period, they relied on you, perhaps too heavily, as their emotional crutch. They drew strength and energy from you, leaning on your unwavering support, seeking solace in your unwavering presence. You were their anchor in the storm, their beacon in the darkness, their safe harbor in a turbulent sea. They found comfort in your ability to hold space for them, to listen without judgment, and to offer a steady hand when they felt like they were losing their grip. But then, a significant shift occurred, a pivotal moment that altered the course of your relationship. You made a profound decision, a choice that resonated with the deepest wisdom of your soul. You stopped giving them your time, your energy, and your attention in the same way you once had. This decision was not made lightly, not without careful consideration and a deep understanding of the consequences. It stemmed from a profound realization, a powerful awakening within your own heart, that you needed to prioritize your own well-being. You came to understand that you, too, were deserving of love, care, and attention. You recognized that you had been pouring from an emptying cup, giving of yourself without replenishing your own reserves. You understood that true love, the kind of love that nourishes and sustains, begins with self-love. You made a sacred commitment to love yourself more deeply, to nurture your own growth, and to cultivate your own happiness. You vowed to honor your own needs, to listen to the whispers of your own soul, and to walk a path that was aligned with your highest good. This shift in focus, this redirection of your energy inward, left them completely and utterly shocked. They were stunned, shaken to their core, and disoriented by this unexpected turn of events. They had grown accustomed to your unwavering support and presence, to the constant flow of your love and energy. It had become a familiar rhythm, a comforting pattern in their lives, a source of stability in a world that often felt chaotic and unpredictable. And without it, they felt an immense void, a gaping emptiness that echoed with the silence of your absence. It was as if a vital part of themselves had been suddenly removed, leaving them feeling incomplete and vulnerable. Your decision forced them to confront their dependency on you, to acknowledge the extent to which they had relied on your strength and your love. It was a rude awakening, a jarring jolt that shook them out of their complacency and forced them to see the truth of their situation. They were not prepared for this new reality, this world in which your unwavering support was no longer a given. This new reality frustrated them deeply. It stirred within them a complex mix of emotions, including anger, confusion, and a profound sense of loss. They missed and craved the love you used to shower upon them, the warmth of your affection, and the unwavering reassurance of your presence. The void you left behind was palpable, a tangible absence that weighed heavily on their heart and mind. They found themselves longing, with an almost desperate yearning, for the emotional nourishment that only you could provide, the sustenance that had become so essential to their well-being. In their eyes, you were the one person who truly understood them, who saw beyond their flaws and imperfections, who accepted them unconditionally. You possessed a unique ability to manage their energy, to navigate their emotional landscape with grace and compassion, and to offer them the guidance they so desperately needed. They believed, perhaps with a touch of desperation, that no one else on this planet could ever love them as much as you did, that no other soul could ever connect with them on such a profound and intimate level. This realization brought them a profound sense of loss and despair, a feeling of having lost something irreplaceable, something precious beyond measure. This thought tormented them, haunting their waking hours and invading their dreams. They were left with a gnawing sense of regret, a painful awareness of what they had taken for granted, and a deep fear that they would never again experience such a profound connection. Their frustration was compounded by the fact that they were now alone, left to navigate the treacherous waters of their emotions and addictions by themselves, without your comforting presence to guide them. This solitary journey was daunting and often overwhelming. They felt adrift, lost in a sea of uncertainty, with no compass to steer them and no lighthouse to guide them home. They may be experiencing nightmares, vivid and disturbing manifestations of their subconscious mind grappling with the changes in their life. These nightmares were not just random images flashing across the screen of their sleeping mind, but were symbolic representations of the inner chaos they were trying to escape from, the unresolved conflicts that were clamoring for their attention. They were a reflection of their deepest fears, their most profound anxieties, and their most painful memories. Additionally, they might be receiving signs, perhaps through dreams, synchronicities, or other mysterious means, urging them to free themselves from their stagnant situation. These signs were not mere coincidences, but were subtle messages from the universe, gentle nudges from their own intuition, pushing them towards growth and change. They were invitations to step out of their comfort zone, to embrace the unknown, and to embark on a journey of self-transformation. Throughout this awakening period, this time of profound inner change, they were haunted by the comfort they had found in you. You were their safe haven, their sanctuary, the one who brought them solace amidst their struggles, the one who offered them a refuge from the storms of life. Now, without you, they were forced to confront the harsh realities of their life, to face the challenges they had previously avoided, and to take responsibility for their own happiness. This process, although painful and difficult, was essential for their growth. It pushed them to develop emotional resilience, to cultivate inner strength, and to find the courage to stand on their own 2 feet. It forced them to learn to soothe themselves, to comfort themselves, and to find strength within themselves, rather than relying on external sources for validation and support. Your absence, though initially perceived as a devastating loss, became a catalyst for their transformation. It was the spark that ignited the flame of self-discovery, the force that propelled them on a journey of inner exploration. In the grand scheme of things, your decision to step back and focus on yourself was not just an act of self-preservation, but also an act of profound love and compassion. It was about giving them the space they needed to grow, the opportunity to discover their own inner resources, and the chance to forge their own path. Sometimes, it is necessary for people to lose what they value the most in order to truly realize its worth. It is in the absence that we come to appreciate the presence, in the silence that we hear the whispers of our own soul, and in the darkness that we discover the light within. Your absence served as a powerful lesson for them, teaching them the importance of self-love, the necessity of healing, and the transformative power of personal growth. It forced them to confront their demons head-on, to wrestle with their shadows, and to take responsibility for their own happiness. They could no longer rely on you to fix their problems, to soothe their pain, or to provide them with a sense of worth. They had to learn to do these things for themselves, to become their own healers, their own guides, and their own source of strength. As they navigated this challenging period, this time of intense self-reflection, they came to understand the depth of their feelings for you and the extent to which they had taken your love for granted. They began to see the true value of your presence in their life, the irreplaceable gift of your love, and the profound impact you had had on their well-being. This realization, though painful, might be the turning point they needed to start making meaningful changes in their life. They learned that true love is not about dependency, about clinging to another person for security and validation, but about mutual growth and support. It is about 2 individuals coming together, each whole and complete in themselves, to share their lives, to uplift each other, and to inspire each other to become the best versions of themselves. Through this process, this crucible of transformation, they emerged stronger, more self-aware, and hopefully, more capable of giving and receiving love in a healthy and balanced way. They learned to set healthy boundaries, to communicate their needs effectively, and to cultivate relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. Ultimately, your actions set in motion a series of events that could lead to profound personal transformation for them. While it may be painful for both of you now, this period of growth and self-discovery has the potential to lead to a more fulfilling and balanced relationship in the future, whether with each other or with new partners. Your commitment to loving yourself more has not only benefited you, but has also paved the way for them to embark on their own journey of self-improvement and healing. It was a selfless act of love, a sacrifice made for the greater good, a testament to the power of self-respect and the enduring nature of true love. If I could turn back time, if I could somehow find a way to rewrite the past, to alter the course of events that have unfolded between us, I would take back those words that have wounded you, those harsh pronouncements that have left scars upon your heart. I would retract the things I said, the hurtful phrases that echoed in the silence between us, and the pain I caused, the deep anguish that I now realize was born from my own fear and misunderstanding. It all weighs heavily on me now, a burden of regret that I carry with me every moment of every day. You opened me up in ways I never imagined possible. You peeled back the layers of my carefully constructed defenses, exposing the vulnerability that I had so desperately tried to hide. You brought me to life, infusing my existence with a new sense of purpose, breathing new meaning and vitality into my soul. You awakened within me a passion I never knew I possessed, a fire that burned with the intensity of 1,000 suns. Yet, despite the profound gift you offered me, I resisted the changes you brought. I clung to the familiar, to the patterns of behavior that had defined me for so long, because letting go felt like losing control, like surrendering a part of myself that I was not yet ready to release. There were things I had to release, old pains and unresolved issues that were buried deep within my subconscious, wounds that had festered for years, and traumas that continued to haunt my waking hours. These were not easy to confront, not simple to acknowledge, and the process of facing them felt like walking through fire. This inner turmoil, this battle between my desire for change and my fear of the unknown, clouded my vision, blinding me to what truly mattered. I was so fixated on my 3D life, my career, my goals, my material pursuits, that I missed the one thing I always needed the most, you. I was so caught up in the pursuit of external validation, so driven by the need for achievement, that I failed to see the treasure that was right in front of me. It was you, my love, who stood by me, who saw me for who I truly am, with all my flaws and imperfections, with all my strengths and weaknesses, with all my light and shadow. You loved me despite my resistance, despite my stubbornness, despite my inability to fully receive the gift of your affection. You saw the goodness within me, even when I was blind to it myself. I know now that I didn't give you the time and love you truly deserved. I was so preoccupied with my own agenda, so consumed by my own ambitions, that I failed to prioritize our connection. Instead of opening my heart to you, instead of allowing myself to be vulnerable and receptive, I relied on my logic, my reason, my intellect. I tried to analyze our relationship, to understand it with my mind, rather than feeling it with my heart. I let my ego drive my actions, allowing pride and self-importance to dictate my behavior, and in doing so, I failed to understand and value the love you were giving me unconditionally. Looking back, with the clarity that only hindsight can provide, I realize that you are my emotional fulfillment. Your presence in my life brought a joy and completeness that I can never compare with anyone or anything else. You filled a void within me that I didn't even know existed, a longing that I had carried for so long without recognizing its source. You brought a sense of peace and harmony to my soul, a feeling of being truly at home in the world. You have no idea how much I am hurting without you, how deeply I feel your absence every day. The world seems dimmer, the colors less vibrant, and the music less sweet. Every moment is a reminder of what I have lost, a constant ache in my heart that refuses to subside. Without you, every day feels like a wound that refuses to heal, a deep and festering injury that I cannot seem to mend. To be honest, you were a warm, safe blanket in my life. Your love provided a comfort and security that I felt I didn't deserve. It was a love that enveloped me, that protected me from the harshness of the world, that made me feel cherished and valued. I felt unworthy of such a profound and unconditional gift, as if I had somehow stumbled upon a treasure that was too precious for me to possess. That's why, perhaps subconsciously, perhaps even intentionally, I kept pushing you away. I wanted you to start hating me, to feel towards me the same resentment and anger that I sometimes felt towards myself. Because, in my twisted logic, in my distorted perception of reality, it was easier to bear the thought of you hating me than the thought of you seeing me as I truly am, flawed, imperfect, and undeserving. I believed that if you hated me, I could protect myself from the pain of your disappointment, from the agony of knowing that I had failed to live up to your expectations. But now, I regret it all. I regret every moment I pushed you away, every time I let my ego speak instead of my heart, every opportunity one missed to express my love and gratitude. I miss you so much that the pain of your absence is almost unbearable. It is a physical ache, a gnawing emptiness that consumes me from the inside out. I wish I could go back and do things differently. I wish I had opened my heart to you more fully, allowed myself to be vulnerable and receptive, and truly embrace the love you were offering me. I wish I had been more present, more attentive, and more appreciative of your presence in my life. Your love was a gift, a precious and rare gift that I squandered. I didn't realize at the time how rare it is to find someone who loves so deeply and unconditionally, someone who accepts you completely, without judgment or reservation. You stood by me when I was at my worst, when I was lost and confused, when I was struggling to find my way. You saw the good in me, even when I couldn't see it myself, even when I was convinced that I was beyond redemption. I took that for granted. I assumed that your love would always be there, that it was an inexhaustible resource that I could draw upon at will. I thought that by pushing you away, I was protecting myself, shielding myself from the potential pain of rejection or abandonment. But all I was doing was hurting us both, creating a distance between us that I now desperately long to bridge. If I could turn back time, I would take back every hurtful word, every thoughtless action, every moment of indifference. I would cherish every moment we had together, savoring each precious memory, and I would make sure you knew, without a shadow of a doubt, how much you meant to me. I would express my love openly and freely, without reservation, without fear, and without letting my ego get in the way.